Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I tend to be sympathetic to rip-off victims because I've seen a lot of people get ripped off, and quite often the scams are sophisticated, and the people doing the scams have been doing this so long, they're good at it. But every now and then I read one where I'm like, really? Shouldn't somebody have known better? And this might be one of those stories. Now, it's been widely publicized, but it was picked up by the independent.co.uk. Mark Phillips sent it to me. Thanks a lot, my friend. Massachusetts woman reveals how she lost $2.5 million in online romance scam. $2.5 million. But listen how it happened. She says that's the kind of scary part about these scams. It's that they're very patient. They were patient in ripping her off for $2.5 million. Amber Rakin wrote the story. A Massachusetts woman has revealed how she was a victim of an online romance scam where she lost $2.5 million. She's a lawyer living in Massachusetts. She recalled how she was going through the most vulnerable time she had ever been in her life during a recent interview with the Boston Herald. She noted how she had had her stomach removed in January 2021. Now, I would grant you that if you had to have your stomach removed permanently, that would put you in a difficult place emotionally. I understand that. But that was after she was diagnosed with gastric cancer. And her husband of 16 years, who she hadn't physically seen since 3 months before her diagnosis, told her he wanted to break up. So she's in an emotional state, bad physical state. Her cancer also came back in September of 2021. And a month after that, she received a message on WhatsApp from someone named Jimmy, who asked her if she was Linda. Now, I hate to talk about my age because I feel younger than I am. But I have learned a universal law that if you call a woman by the wrong name, it's never good. And so the fact that this relationship started with the guy going, "Are you Linda?" And she says, "No, you got the wrong number. My name's Cynthia." The man then commented on her profile picture and said that they might have a common background based on their nationalities. And that sparked a relationship. So the relationship started with the wrong number and someone calling her by the wrong name. But she's got more faith in mankind than I do. But that's just me again. So according to the woman, Jimmy continued to be there for her when she needed someone to lean on. And by be there for her, he was communicating with her through social media. He wasn't physically there, but he was there for her, just not there. He was someplace else, but there. Oh, boy. So Jimmy detailed how, along with everything else, he was trading in cryptocurrencies online and how beneficial it has been to him. Now, Cynthia wasn't interested at first, but Jimmy sent her screenshots of his alleged returns and the money he got. And she did some research on her own, and she discovered a billionaire named Elon Musk, who at the time was having success through crypto. Now, if you do your research and you run across a billionaire named Elon Musk, you should have run across the idea that he also owns a couple different companies that make products, and he sells the products. Cryptocurrency might be something he dabbles in, but that's not how he got rich. But hey, Jimmy introduced her to that and also to an online trading market which used a name similar to a legitimate site. Similar to a legitimate site. Not actually the same, but similar. He also agreed to do a video call with her in order to alleviate any of her concerns about red flags in the market. So, at this point in time, they've exchanged messages. She's seen a picture purportedly of him, but he said now, "Hey, I'll do a video call with you." He also made it look like he was giving her loans in order to help her build up her crypto success. But unfortunately, this wasn't the case, as she ended up giving money to a fake platform and lost $2.5 million. So she starts the relationship with $2.5 million, and a guy with the wrong number calls her by the wrong name. Fast forward to she's talked to him via Zoom, but she's out $2.5 million. That's the net result here. Speaking to The Independent, Cynthia noted how she won't be able to get her money back because the scam group is outside the U.S. and probably laundered in many different ways. I was as pretty much told by the FBI to not expect it back. All was through crypto except for one wire to the National Bank of Australia. Now, again, many people should know that Australia is far, far away from America. So when you're wiring your money to a bank in Australia from the U.S., you're sending it about as far as you can geographically from where you are. She also shared how she's a member of the Global Anti-Scam Organization, which supports people around the world devastated by investment cybercrimes per its official website. Now, she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer. And now there's a lot of people who are lawyers. I'm a lawyer. Imagine that. There's only one person in the studio, and he's a lawyer. 100% of the occupants of this studio are lawyers. That's how common they are. But to become a lawyer, you have to get an undergraduate degree and then take a test and then get into law school, pass law school, take another test, pass a character and fitness test, and then you practice law, assuming you get admitted to a bar. And you'd think that as a lawyer, you would have heard by now about these various scams floating around, even if you don't study them. But she says that she's a member of the Global Anti-Scam Organization. So she's a lawyer who's a member of an organization that supposedly fights this stuff, and it happened to her. Through the group, she has seen how online scams are constantly changing. We realize that scammers are posing not as just good-looking Asian men and women, but as people of all nationalities and of all looks, she added. They're also on every single social media platform, not just dating sites, but also, say, LinkedIn. Few victims met their scammers there. We also now see they're employing deep fakes. But she's pointing out deep fakes, but I don't know why, because this man did not use a deep fake. In fact, this man did the simplest of all scams, and that was simply he contacted her, started a conversation, and said, do you want to get involved in cryptocurrency? And I've mentioned before, I'm on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, friend me, and I'll probably friend you back. But I also get friended or requests every single day from people who say, friend request, and I look at it, and it's just a picture, and it's some name, and half of the names are made up. Like, they're not even good made-up names. My name is Johnson Smith, and there's a picture of somebody, and you go to their page before you accept the friend request, and the only thing they have there is the photograph that you just saw. Their name is Johnson Smith, and then the most improbable things. I went to Boston High School and graduated from Los Angeles Medical School and now live in Paris. And there's a photograph of somebody standing in front of the pyramids. And people make up fake social media identities and then just start trolling for victims. And because I tend to accept almost all friend requests except for the obvious ones, some of the less obvious ones get through. And they always start with a message from somebody going, hey, Steve. And if I say anything back, they go, have you heard the news? And I talked about this before, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But the point is that there's a group of scammers out there. And all they do all day long is they get up in the morning and they go into an internet cafe in another continent and they set up fake profiles and then just start trolling for victims. They start looking for people who are naive. And so I do have some sympathy for what this woman's been through, because she has lost her stomach to cancer and her husband left her. And those, I understand, are very traumatic things emotionally. I get that. But that doesn't mean when somebody who's got the wrong number, figuratively speaking, on a social media platform and calls you by the wrong name, that you go, oh, well, while you're here, let's become friends. And I'll start taking investment advice from you. Because if she actually had $2.5 million to lose, she probably should have just left it wherever it was. I mean, $2.5 million is a decent amount of change. Now, I understand you might say, but Steve, maybe she wants to double that before she retires or something. Well, she probably does. But my point is that she had $2.5 million. Now she's got nothing. And she wants to blame some guy named Jimmy, who thought that her name was something else. And like I said, there were red flags at the beginning of this. So the fact that she's an attorney and a member of an anti-scam group who fell for this. I don't have a lot of sympathy for her, like I said. So I'm not condemning her, but when you see somebody who loses all their money in a way that they shouldn't have let happen, it's hard to have too much sympathy for them. You know, fooling his money and all that. So crazy story, but $2.5 million she lost, and she's an attorney who says that she's a member of an organization that's designed to root this out. So Massachusetts woman reveals how she lost $2.5 million in online romance scam. Amber Rakin wrote for The Independent, independent.co.uk. Mark Phillips, thanks a lot. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. As one grows older, one becomes wiser and more foolish.